Bashir was only 22, yet the weight of responsibility rested firmly on his shoulders. After his father's death, he had taken over the family's small buffalo farm. The farm lay in a breathtaking landscape of endless green fields, where tall crops swayed gently in the breeze. Just beyond the farmland, a narrow river wound its way through the valley, its clear water sparkling in the sunlight. Ponds near the riverbank served as bathing and drinking spots for the buffalo, who lazily soaked in the cool water after long hours of grazing. Though life was not easy, Bashir found peace in this harmony between man, land, and animals. Each morning, as the sun rose over the river, he promised himself to protect and nurture what his father had built. The sun rose higher, painting the river with golden light. Bashir whistled softly as he led his herd of 20 buffalo toward the riverside. Their heavy footsteps pressed into the damp earth, and soon the sound of splashing water filled the air. The buffalo lowered their heads to drink, some sinking into the ponds, their dark bodies shimmering under the sunlight. Bashir stood proudly, watching them enjoy the cool water, his heart swelling with responsibility and quiet joy. But then, his smile faded. One pregnant buffalo, heavier than the rest, slowly wandered away from the group. She moved dangerously close to the tall grass, her ears flicking nervously as if something unseen stirred within the shadows. Bashir's instincts sharpened. Something wasn't right. From the tall grass came a sudden, terrifying rustle. In the blink of an eye, a massive python lunged forward, its thick body striking with brutal speed. It wrapped itself tightly around the pregnant buffalo, coiling like a living chain. The buffalo let out a desperate cry, thrashing wildly as her hooves slammed into the wet mud, spraying water into the air. The herd erupted in panic. Buffalo scattered in every direction, their splashes echoing like thunder across the riverbank. Some ran toward the open field, others bolted into the shallows, but none dared come near the struggling victim. Bashir's heart pounded as he stood frozen for a moment, realizing he was facing a nightmare unlike anything he had ever seen. Bashir stood rooted to the ground, his chest tightening as the pregnant buffalo cried out in agony. His heart pounded so loudly it drowned out every other sound. He knew one wrong step could end her life instantly. The python's grip was merciless, and fear threatened to paralyze him. But then, like a whisper from the past, he remembered his father's old survival lessons, how courage and quick thinking could turn danger into escape. With trembling hands, Bashir forced himself to move. He spun around and sprinted back toward his farm, his sandals kicking up dust. He knew exactly where to go, the tool shed by the barn. Inside lay the very tools that might save the buffalo from the python's deadly coils. Bashir rushed to the shed and grabbed a steel bucket already filled with dry grass. Beside it lay a large bottle of chemical, his father's secret mixture, once explained as a way to fight dangerous grips of snakes. Without wasting time, he poured the entire bottle over the grass, making it damp and ready for action. Clutching the bucket tightly, Bashir sprinted back to the riverbank, his heart thundering. The buffalo was still trapped, the python's coils pressed tighter than ever. Bashir wrapped a handkerchief across his face to shield himself, then struck a match. Flames caught, and thick, bitter smoke billowed upward. He waved the bucket carefully, directing the smoke straight at the python's face and body. The massive serpent writhed in discomfort, hissing as the smoke clouded its senses. For the first time, the buffalo's survival seemed possible. With one final wave of thick smoke, the python hissed angrily and slithered back into the dark bushes, disappearing into the night. The struggle was finally over. The pregnant buffalo, exhausted and trembling, collapsed to the ground, her chest rising and falling in heavy, uneven breaths. Bashir rushed to her side, tears glistening in his eyes. He gently touched her neck and whispered shakily, "You're safe now." The buffalo blinked slowly, alive but too weak to stand. Knowing she couldn't walk, Bashir quickly brought a wooden trolley from his farm. With great effort, he managed to roll her onto it, securing her gently. Step by step, he pulled the trolley through the rough path, his body aching but his heart filled with relief. That night, he wasn't just a farmer. He became a savior. At the farm, Bashir carefully settled the weak buffalo in a warm, dry corner of the shed. Her breathing was shallow, and deep marks from the python's coils still covered her body. With trembling hands, he prepared his old herbal remedies, leaves crushed with oil, mixed into a soothing paste. He gently applied the medicine on her wounds, whispering words of comfort as she winced. The buffalo's eyes showed pain, but also trust. All night, Bashir refused to sleep. He sat beside her with a lantern, keeping watch for danger, swatting away insects, and stroking her head whenever she stirred. For him, this was not just an animal, it was family, and he would guard her with his life. Days turned into nights, and slowly, hope began to return. The buffalo, once weak and trembling, now managed to stand for short moments. Bashir brought her soft, fresh grass and buckets of clean water, patiently feeding her until she regained strength. Each bite she took, each sip she drank, felt like a small victory. Bashir stayed close, talking gently as if his words alone could heal her wounds. The buffalo responded with soft, grateful eyes, recognizing the man who had saved her life. Their bond grew stronger, no longer just farmer and animal, but companions tied together by survival. Every passing day brought signs of recovery, and Bashir's heart filled with quiet joy, knowing his struggle had not been in vain. One early morning, Bashir was awakened by unusual sounds from the buffalo's stall. Rushing over, he saw her struggling in labor. His heart pounded with both fear and hope. Hours passed slowly, each moment filled with tension. Then, at last, a fragile but healthy calf entered the world, its small body trembling as it tried to breathe. The mother, once nearly lost to the python, now licked her newborn with endless love and relief. If this heartfelt rescue touched your soul, imagine how many more stories of survival are waiting to be told. Join us on this journey of courage, hope, and compassion. Subscribe now to Animal Survival Stories and never miss the bond between humans and animals.